selecting West Indies' best test team of the past decade, 2010 to 2019. Stay tuned. Between 2010 to 2019, it has been a tough time not only for West Indian fans but West Indian players and selectors, as West Indies has tried so many openers, the likes of Adrian Barrett, Leon Johnson, Kirk Edwards, and up to the latest person that we have tried as a region, John Campbell, in 2019 in that series against England. With so many openers tried, as we can see displayed on the screen, let's just look at some of their numbers. Let's not forget that Chris Gayle also played during this period between 2010 to 2014, and Gayle played 18 matches, scored 300s, averaging 50 plus. He also scored that triple century against Sri Lanka in 2010. And the best thing about Chris Gayle in this decade is that strike rate. Chris Gayle's strike rate was 70.09. I know you don't associate strike rate with Test cricket, but Chris Gayle, what he do is just ease pressure off his opening partner. So for me, I'm going with Craig Brathwaite and Chris Gayle. Those are the only two openers that have scored over 1,000 runs between 2010 to 2019. It has been so sad where West Indies have even tried Darren Bravo to open the batting. Definitely, my two openers are Chris Gayle and Craig Brathwaite. In at number 3, West Indies have tried many persons at number 3. We had Ramnaresh Sangwan, who only played a couple of games. Darren Bravo, Shimron Hetmyer, Kyron Powell, Shea Hope. We've even pushed some of our openers. At 3, the Leon Johnson, the Kirk Edwards, the Kyron Powell, Devon Smith. We've tried these guys at number 3. And for me, the guy that I'm going with in at 3 is none other than Darren Bravo. Just look at the numbers. Darren Bravo has had 50 plus innings, 400s, averaging close to 40. That 218 versus New Zealand was sensational stuff. So for me, Darren Bravo, those numbers looking good. So my top 3 so far: Chris Gayle, Craig Brathwaite, Darren Bravo. Based on the numbers, whoa, this is looking a good team. I don't think anyone can argue who gets number 4. It has to be Marlon Samuels. Marlon Samuels between 2010 to 2019 has averaged 35, 500s, 1050s from 74 innings. He's just been phenomenal between 2010 to 2019. So Marlon Samuels definitely walks in at number 4. There's no person who can debate or state someone otherwise who can take that number 4 position from Marlon Samuels. So Marlon Samuels at 4. At 5, there's no debate. Chanderpaul, who's been our greatest test player, certainly in the 21st century. Certainly by far. So Chanderpaul, he owns that number 5 position. Just look at these numbers, averaging 60 plus, 900s, 3,000 plus runs, 70 innings, and that conversion rate, look at that. 22 scores above 50 out of 70 innings. His conversion rate is so good. Shivnarine Chanderpaul walks into this team. He owns that number 5. No debate about number 4 and number 5. Wow! So the top 5 looking really good so far. Now the big debate now, the $1 million question. Who will be our wicket keeper? Now if you're to debunk the numbers and look at Denesh Ramdin and Shane Dowrich, if you look at it, they've both played 35 matches in this period. Both scored 300s. Both of them averaging 29. And so what separates them? For me, I'm going with the catches. I've always felt that Denesh Ramdin, he's been a little bit safer as a wicket keeper. And so with an average of 29 for both Dowrich and Ramdin, I'm definitely going for Denesh Ramdin, as I just feel that he's a safer wicket keeper. You may differ, no problem, but it's definitely a toss-up between these two, and I'll go with Denesh Ramdin as my wicket keeper. In at number 7, there's no question about it. Jason Ola walks in as the all-rounder. Just look at Jason Ola's numbers. Averaging 30 with the bat, averaging 30 with the ball. He's phenomenal. Jason Ola, the number 1 all-rounder during most of this passage between 2017 to 2019. He's been the number 1 test all-rounder. There's no question that Jason Ola takes that number 7 spot. So now on to the bowlers. West Indies seam attacks certainly have depreciated since the early 2000s when we had the Ian Bishop, the Curtly Ambrose, the Malcolm Marshall, we had Courtney Walsh, we had all of these guys who were fantastic. Our seam attack has been nothing of that sort anymore. But of course, let's have a look at the seamers that we've tried in this decade. Of course, we have our Kimar Roach, Jerome Taylor, we have Miguel Cummins, we've tried even Sherman Lewis, who debuted in India. We've tried Brandon Bass, Keon Peters, the left-arm medium pacer, Zari Joseph. We had Fidel Edwards playing and Tina Bess. We've not Carlos Brathwaite coming in at number 8. But for me, the seamers I'm going to select are Jerome Taylor, Kimar Roach and Shannon Gabriel. Now Jerome Taylor has been fantastic. And he's only played 3 years in this period between 2014 to 2016. 17 matches, picking up 48 wickets. So roughly he's getting 3 wickets per game. Strike rate of 59 can be a little bit better. But Jerome Taylor in this decade, if you were to actually watch those games, Jerome Taylor created a lot of chances. If we go back to that game against Australia in 2015, where he bowled 6 overs, 6 maidens, picked up 2 wickets. The big wicket of David Warner and Sean Marsh, giving Steve Smith a lot of problem, and Michael Clark. Definitely Jerome Taylor. I'm selecting Jerome Taylor into my team. And of course, Kimar Roach. He recently got above 200 test wickets. But in this decade between 2010 to 2019, from 51 games, 150 plus wickets, strike rate of 56, a best of 5 for 8 versus Bangladesh, where that game we had bowled out Bangladesh for 43. Sensational stuff. So Jerome Taylor, Kimar Roach for sure, and of course Shannon Gabriel. Shannon Gabriel at his fittest is sensational. Now look at that strike rate, 51.2 and averaging below 30. During this period, Shannon Gabriel is our only seamer with an average below 30. When you think about the likes of James Anderson, Dale Steyn, all of those guys average below 30. Shannon Gabriel is the closest guy we have to those sort of numbers. So Shannon Gabriel or Spitzer at his full fitness between this period, definitely Shannon Gabriel walks into the team. Now when it comes on to selecting that spinner, we already have Marlon Samuels and Chris Gayle in the team, Craig Brathwaite. They can give some off spin, but our main spinner, you look at the spinners tried, we haven't tried much spinners, but I'm gonna go for Devendra Bishu. Bishu in this decade has been pretty good, 100 plus wickets. Could have had a better strike rate and a better average, but Bishu has 100 plus wickets and he's played the most matches, and he's also been pretty much the best of our spinners in this decade. So that is my team. Chris Gayle and Brathwaite to open, Darren Bravo at 3, Marlon Samuels at 4, Chanderpaul at 5, Ramdin to wicket keep, Jason Ola at 7, Jerome Taylor, Bishu, Kimar Roach and Shannon Gabriel. So comment your thoughts about this team, and if you have any changes to make regarding to your best test team, remember of the decade 2010 to 2019, state it in the comments and we can definitely have a conversation about that. But for me, this is my test team of the decade, and for me, without a doubt, who's going to be the captain is Jason Holder. The numbers, if you look at it, Holder has won 3 series as a captain from 37 matches and he's won 11 games. So win percentage just about 26-27%, similar to Dennis Ramdin, but Ramdin captained far less games and Chris Gayle only had that 1 series win. against England in 2009, which is not even in this decade. And so between Holder and Ramding, I think Holder has to get the captaincy. Brathwaite not in contention because he didn't captain between this decade. And so that's my captain, Jason Holder. So my reserves would have been my reserve wicketkeeper, Shane Dowrich, my reserve seamer, Alzari Joseph, my reserve batsman, Kirk Edwards, and my reserve spinner, definitely Shane Shillingford. Didn't get into the team because of his action. He was very good, but of course his action prevented him from playing as many games for West Indies. So comment your thoughts on my squad of the best test team between 2010 to 2019. Comment your thoughts.